Huh? Hold on, thing. What are you pushing? Okay, so we're up to the two dots on Samach Zion of a base. Shtickle a long daf, a little bit of a confusing daf. Basically, tonight's daf is all about if the guy, when is the person kinda, then meaning the ganav has to pay daled v'hei if he shefts or he sells the karbonis, right? So he has to pay daled v'hei. So the question is he kainet before he pays the daled v'hei, or if he is kainet, then he doesn't pay daled v'hei? Meaning, we saw this yesterday. Some shitas hold that if he buys it and it's daled v'hei, I'm sorry, if he's not buys, if he's he stole it. So if he's the animal, then he doesn't pay daled v'hei because he shechted his own animal, right? And others say no, he's not. He's only going to pay daled v'hei if he was kainet. All right, so we'll see. There's going to be a lot of different shitas flying around about this. Okay, so then the Gemara starts with Eina Goinev, 5 lines up from the bottom on Samach Zayin of a base. Eina Goinev Achara Ganav Sham Teshume Kefil. So if one Ganav steals from another Ganav, right, then he does not have to pay him Kefil. What's a pshat? Because you only pay kefil when you steal it from the owner. Here, he didn't steal it from the owner. He stole it from the guy who stole it from the owner. Meaning, based on psukim, you only pay kefil if you steal it from the guy who owned it. If you steal it from a guy who stole from a guy who owned it, then you do not pay. Then you do not pay. Kefil. So then, what's going to be? It's the Gemara is going to ask. Well, maybe the first guy was already kainet, so he becomes the owner. But if the crook is kainet, and then the second crook comes and takes it from him, so if he was kainet, then he is stealing it from the owner, right? Meaning there could be multiple owners, like at any item, right? It starts off in the manufacturer, and then somebody buys it, and then somebody buys it from him, and it goes down the road. So from each one, you could theoretically be maybe if it came to you by surah, then you don't pay kefil.
No, but what? So that's,
if it came to that person by surah, you don't pay kefil.
So but that's, we're going to see in the Gemara that most of the sheet is not like that. That you don't have to. If you're the owner, then that's it. But we have to see. So that's what the Gemara starts with. This that we say that crook number 2 does not have to pay kefil for crook number 1. Again, the scenario is crook number 1 steals an animal from honest guy, and then crook number 2 comes and steals it from crook number 1, and then he shechts it or sells it. So he does not have to pay kefil, or he gets caught, or he shechts it or sells it. He does not have to pay kefil or daled v'hei because he didn't steal it from the owner. So Rav is saying, that's all if he stole it before years, because if the owner, the original owner, the honest guy, wasn't meyayish, so then it still belongs to him. But if the honest guy, the guy that was stolen from, was meyayish, kanu ganav rishon, so then the first ganav is already kainet. The ganav sheni misham teshume kefil, the ganav rishon, and then since the ganav rishon became the owner, right? So now it's his. So then the guy is going to be chayiv kefil again,
because he stole it from the owner.
The first guy is going to get paid the keren,
but he's not going to get paid the kefil all daled v'hei because he's miyayish.
Yeah, he gets back keren. That's it. Don't be miyayish. We're going to see. There's going to be. It's hard. It's hard to understand all this. Yeah.
What's the chiddush of this? What's even chiddush over here? If you hold yish is kind of, then that's that you own it. Like, what's the chiddush over here? Is he saying that then of yish is kind of,
is that?
The Gemara is going to go the other way on you on that, Akiva. It's going to say not only the chiddush doesn't make sense. What are you saying?
Is that only when the ganef is chayiv kefil only when Bezdin paskins? When is he chayiv kefil?
Only when Bezdin catches him. Yes. If he's Maida, he's not. It's Maida B'Knas.
No, not Maida.
No, Bezdin catches him.
In the Chumash, he's chayiv kefil when they tell him. Karen he's chayiv when he steals it. Yeah.
Karen is chayiv from when he steals it. Yes.
And the kefel's one better than Paskins. Fine. Okay.
Correct. Yes. Yeah, that's how it goes.
It's Yaakov, but you own it. Like, what would be the issue? Why would the second person not be chayav kefil?
Oh, so let's see. Let's see Rav Sheshes kasha. So Amar Rav Sheshes, Amina kinayim v'shachim Rav Amar lahashmaitzim. Right, this is Rav Sheshes' favorite thing against the Rav. This is like the third time we're having this. When Rav said this, he was dozing off. The Tanya Amar Rabbi Kiva, because we learned in Brisa, Rabbi Kiva said, why is it? Why did the Torah say, which is in itself an interesting thing? We're not supposed to look for reasons for the Torah.
Right, just
Right?
had in the Mishnah.
Right. But Rabbi Kiva is saying a reason. He's saying, why did the Torah say if the guy steals and then he sells it or shechts it, he pays 4 or 5 times? Because he became, nishtarish means from a shoirish. He became rooted in the chet. Right? So Rashi means he was nischazik bechet. Because now his actions made it like what do you call it? Closure. He has closure. Because now he stole it, and now that he shechted it or sold it, so then that's it. He's done with it. Right? So he actually showed that it's one thing if he has it, and there's always the possibility of returning it. So there's no closure there. Here he did closure. That's why I'm understanding Shirish. That's what I came up with today a little bit. That this is Shirish is closure. Right? So now Amos.
He's scot-free.
No, he's still gonna have to pay. Fakert was giving him to pay more.
Only if he gets caught.
Of course, only if he gets caught. Yes.
It's Yaakov. I thought the Gemara is not saying a word in closure. The Gemara is saying if somebody stole from you, that's closure also because you can't return it anymore. But I thought the Gemara is saying that you stepped it up another level. You were mechazik what you did originally by furthering whatever you're doing with another Maisa. You furthered your gzela, your geneva, by go ahead and selling it or shechting it.
Well, you furthered it, you're done with it.
Nishrus means to plant roots. It's not stamp closure. He's saying more than that. That you're taking it up another level. You're saying not only did I steal from you, I'm completely removing it from you by selling it.
Correct. It's right. It's totally mine.
Closure. Totally you upped it a notch. It's almost like the way Rashi explains when you're mazik something that you steal.
Used by the good guys, not by bad people.
That's true. I know. Yes, I understand the closure. Okay, yeah.
No, but it's almost like the way Rashi says the word when you're mazik something that you own. Rashi says it's a viter gzela.
Right.
The way Achreidim understand Rashi over there, like you're stealing it further by being mazik it.
Right. So the problem is that we have to compare it to the next Gemara. So that's why I'm trying to say it that way, because the next Gemara says something similar, but not exactly the same. So well, let's see. Right. So now what happened here? So Amos, when did this happen? Right? When did the crook sell it? If he sold it before Yush, on Tomer Aleph now, that's called, I'm gonna call it closure, but the Olam doesn't like it. Roots, is that called rooting yourself in the Geneva? He just sold it. Right? It's a Shina Rishus. All that happened was he sold it to somebody else. Meaning, if Bishlama the shecht it, so that's it. The game is over. The animal's no longer. Fine. So that's a shoirish. But here, when he just sold it, that's not the end of the game. It's just a Shina Rishus. It's not his. Elalacharish must be that he sold it after the guy who was stolen from gave up on it. Fine. And if you hold that Yish is kaina, then why is he paying dalit behech? Why is he paying 4 times or 5 times? He shechted his own animal. He sold his own animal. He didn't shecht somebody else's. Meaning, if you're saying that shirish means that it belonged to the guy who owned it originally, and now this guy stole it from him, and then he sold it or shechted, and that's like putting closure on the Geneva. I'm sorry for using that word, but I'm saying that puts the end that rooted it in. What do you mean it rooted it in? That means it has to have belonged to him. And the only way we're understanding it is if it happened after Yush. If it happened after Yush, that's not rooting in the Geneva. That's his own. He's shechting and selling his own animal. Right? So it must be right? So so you see, first of all, you're seeing that Yush is kind, right? And also, it's his own animal that he's doing. If it had to happen after Yush, then he's doing it to his own animal. So what answers Amri Kedama Rava. It's like what Rava said. Not mifnei shesharish, not because he rooted. Mifnei sheshana bechet, because he did a second time. Or the word sheni, he did the chet again, right? Which we're going to see in the bottom of the Gemara what this is referring to. But Hachanami here too, we're going to say mifnei sheshana bechet. He did it again, meaning he stole the animal, and then he went and he shechted it and sold it. So now he's doing another chet.
Why would Shina
So-
just do anything to it?
It doesn't do anything to it. That's
No, I'm
that's
saying
what the
why
Gemara
would
is saying.
Shina just with the years do anything?
Why together with Yush? I
Yeah,
guess it has two. It's a combination of two things.
but it's either way outside the bounds or Rishos. The original bounds or Rishos. It might not mean whose Rishos it's in. Like you're trying to take it further out of the bounds or Rishos, or to make it less of the original bow. But if if it's out of his Rishos,
Right.
you moving it around, the might not mean it's in somebody's Rishos that it doesn't belong in.
I hear. I don't know. I'm not sure. I
I'm
was the
saying
Gemara doesn't
because
really
he's already
focus too much on
miyai,
Shina
so
Rishos.
once he changed Rishos, it adds to it. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe
Yeah.
that's
Maybe.
Where is the second chait? Where does it say that you can't shecht it? Where is that in Avera? He shechted it. He checked the knife. He had the mashkiach there. Whatever he shechted it. There's a good shechita. He
No,
sold
'cause
it
he
for a good sale. Where's the chait?
Because he's shechting somebody else's animal. First, he stole the guy's animal, and now we're talking about it's before the teretz. Originally, with the Havamina, the Gemara was talking about after years. Now the Gemara is saying it's before years. So the guy still owns the animal. So first he stole my animal, and now he steals the animal, and now he shechts the animal.
Rachamim, I'm
Right?
coming to your house now. I'm going to take one of your animals and I'm going to shecht it. Is there anything wrong with that? I'll shecht it kahalacha. Is there anything wrong with that?
Yeah, good luck. Good luck. Good luck.
Good luck. Okay, you'll whip out your shotgun. But
I don't know what the I can understand the Vera because the Torah tells you not to steal, but it doesn't
Right,
tell
so
you
that's
not
what
to
it is.
shecht.
No, but you're not supposed to. Meaning, you stole right now.
Why would the guy be chayiv daled v'heif if there was no problem with him shechting it?
There is a kosov, but that doesn't
So
tell me.
that means there's
That
a
doesn't tell me.
problem.
Doesn't tell me to love.
No, it's not a xeris of kosa. Rabbi
No.
Kiva Adarabah. Rabbi Kiva is trying to explain the rationale behind the pasuk. Right?
Kosman, you stole, you can return it. Once you shecht it, you can't return him his
Right,
animal.
right.
That's it.
You do. That's why I understand it.
Permanent.
Right, but Naphtali's my ride, so I have to agree with him. So
We had this in
everybody
Rashi.
believes in it.
We had it in Rashi already. So
you'll
long as
still
there's
drive
still
you
a
next
few,
time. Don't worry.
Yeah. What are you saying, Gershon?
so long as there's still a few of Beheshuvas Zeva that he can return the animal,
Right.
then destroying that is a new gneva.
Correct. Now, right.
That's a new Geneva. It's a Geneva of a dollar.
Yes,
Right.
yes. It's not. It's right. It's yeah.
Okay.
Anyway, so that's what he's saying.
That's another way of looking at it. Okay, fine.
Okay, good. Thank you. Okay, so then Toshima. So now again, we're asking on Rav, who holds that Yush makes it that if the owner is Miyayish, that the crook is Kainet. So Toshima, it says Utfacha Yamach,
So
right?
Yaakov, why didn't Gemara ask all these questions on Rabbah?
Who else should ask it on? Or why doesn't it
Rabbah.
ask on Rabbah?
Why is Gemara only asking on Rav? Rabbah and Rav have the same shita. That you use is kind of. So
Correct.
now the Gemara is coming in after we said Rav did. Shouldn't
Yeah,
it be
I
more of a
think it
problem
means-
to Rabbah?
So isn't it both?
I
Isn't it really
guess, but
both?
it's funny that only after the Gemara says Rav's din, the Gemara says, wait a second, you hold the years is kind of, what are you doing? You know, we have all these
Right.
issues. Like the Gemara never went after Rabbah when the Gemara was,
So Rashi really,
pouncing
Rashi,
on Rav Yosef.
yeah, Rashi is going to address it down towards the bottom. I think it's Rashi. So let's see. So Toshima, it says Utfacha Yamachra, right? You shecht them or sell it. Ma tvicha she'ena chezeres. So we compare the selling to the shchita. Shchita it's never coming back. right? Af mechira she'eina chezeres. So to selling is talking about a sale that will never come back. What does that mean? What is that, Rashi? Right, meaning the only time, meaning if you sell it to the guy, see, it's interesting. In America, we have this mishigas of a return policy, right? So what the Gemara is saying here is that when the guy sells it, if it's not a final sale, then he doesn't have to pay dalet vehe, because the sale can be rescinded, right? Sale can be rescinded, but aside I talk in America, any sale that goes on, is that really called a sale? Right? You have a return policy. So I don't know. I'm not sure that maybe that's what the Gemara is referring to. But the Gemara thinks right now that the only sale that you're going to pay dalet vehe is if it's a final sale only. Right?
Yeah,
So
but it's a funny concept you bring up. The in accounting, if you sell, say, gift cards, to say something is a sale on a gift card, when you sell a gift card, it can be redeemed. So, how much money you actually made on the gift card is debatable if they ever redeem it or not.
The stores love it when you give gift cards because
I know, but in accounting, let's say Best Buy, if they want to say they made $100 million on gift cards, it'll be disputed because they have to basically assume that some of that stuff will be redeemed and some of it won't.
Right.
Meaning they can't assume 100% they're going to make 100% on it.
Yeah, but it doesn't make. But the sale is a sale, though.
Right, but of that sale, how much are you actually making on it is a different story.
Okay, I hear. I'm not sure how that works. But anyway, so but anyway, so what the Gemara is saying that just like the mechira, just like the shchita is the point of no return, so the sale also has to be point of no return. So what's going on? If again the same kasha, if it's before yiyush, amai eina chazeres. Why can't the sale be changed? Right? It's not a good sale. If the guy wasn't miyash, I can't go sell something that belongs to somebody else. Right? I'm the crook. I can't go sell something that belongs to somebody else. Right? Ella, so God has to be lacher yiyush. And if you say that he's taka koined after yiyush, amay mishalim dalet vehe, why is he paying dalet vehe? Shalayu teveach, shalayu meicher. He's selling his own, and he's selling his and he's shefting his own. Right? Same kasha. So what answers Kedamar Rav Nachman, no, what it means is that he does do a sale, but it's a 30-day sale, which is, I guess, similar to a rental, right? So that's the case that it goes back. We're talking about where the guy sells it to 30 days. If the guy sells it for 30 days, that's not considered a mechira, and he would not have to pay dalet vehe. Otherwise, if there was yiyush and all that, then he wouldn't have to pay dalet vehe. Right? Okay, now we have a long kasha here. 3 cases. Meisvei. So I asked the kasha, Ganav uva acher v'ganvoi. If somebody stole, there are going to be 3 different cases of a ganav stealing from a ganav. So Ganav uva acher v'ganvoi. If a guy stole, then another guy came and stole from him. So a rishon mishalim tashume kefel. Then the first guy pays tashume kefel. I'm sure tashume, right? He pays tashume kefel to the guy who was stolen from originally. Vasheni, eina mishalim el keren bilvad. But the second guy only pays keren, right? And he pays that to the first ganav. Why? Because he doesn't pay kefel. Because, like we said, kefel only goes if you steal it from the actual owner, not from a crook. Ganavu machar, and if let's say it was stolen and then he sold it, and then somebody else came and stole it from the guy that bought it, right? So then Harishon Mishalim Tashume Arva Chamisha, the first crook has to pay Arva Chamisha to the guy he stole it from. Vasheni Mishalim Tashume Kefel, and the second guy pays Tashlume Kefel, right? To who? to the guy that bought it. Right? That's case number 2. Case number 3 is ganav v'tavach. If he stole it and then shechted it, uba acher v'ganvay, and then somebody came and stole. Obviously, he didn't steal a live animal. He came and stole a dead animal. Harisha mishalim tashum midal v'hei. So the first one pays daled v'hei. Hashena ena mishalim tashum mikefel ela keren bavad, and the second guy only pays keren. Okay, so what does the Gemara want with all these cases? Katani miya mitziyasa. What was the middle case? Ganav u'machar. The guy stole it and sold the animal. Uba achar u'ganvay, and then somebody came and stole it from the guy who bought it. So Harishan. So again, basically, you have 2 honest people and 2 dishonest people. You have a person who had an animal. Somebody came and stole it from him. Then that guy went and sold it to somebody, a regular honest guy. He didn't know the guy was. He didn't know it was stolen. Then the next guy comes and steals it from him. So we have 2 crooks. We have 2 crooks and two honest people. So Harishan Masham Tashum Medala Behei. The first guy pays Tashum Medala Behei. Hasheni Masham Tashum Kefel, and the second guy pays Tashum Kefel. So now what's going on here? Amos, when did this happen? Right? Ilema Lefnei Yush, if it happened before Yush, Sheni Amai Masham Tashum Kefel. So then why is the second guy paying Tashum Kefel? There was no Yush there. Right? So Shina Rishus below Yush, Mi Ikal Amandam the Konitz. And then all it is a Shina Rishus without Yush. Right? And is there anybody that holds that he's going to be kind of it? Is he going to be kind of it? Right? Meaning the buyer bought this thing without any sort of, he bought something that didn't belong to the seller. So of course it doesn't work. Elapshita lachar Yush. So it must be that it's after Yush. And if you're going to think that Yush is kaina, amay masham daled behei, right? Why are you paying daled behei? Didei hu dezavin. He sold his own animal. Again, the same concept. Once the guy who was stolen from steals, gives up, then it becomes the belongings of the crook, who then, if he shechts it or sells it, it's not daled behei. So that's one.
How do we know when he's miyayish?
So that we're going to see on Amud Beis that's what the shitas are with that, but we don't know. We don't know. Right? I'm not sure how it goes. Right? Yeah. So, Vitsu and another kasha, the Katani Reisha, the Reisha says, Gana wuba achar v'gramva. If he steals it and somebody else comes and steals it, Rishon Mashal Tashume Kefel, the first guy pays Kefel, Vasheni Ein Mashal Ela Keren. The second guy only pays Keren. Michti. Lachar Yish Kamina. We just said that we're talking about after Yish. Isagadai Yish Kaina. And if you say that Yish is Kaina, Sheni Amay Ein Mashal Ela Keren. If Yish is Kaina, so why is the second guy only paying Keren? Again, we said the second guy only pays Keren because he stole it from the not from the owner, but he is the owner. Because the guy was miyayish. Elalav shmami no yish leikani. So we see from this that yish is not kaina. The kasha l'rav, and it's a kasha on rav. So after all this, is a kasha on rav from the first case and from the second case. That it has to be that there was, yish, and yish you see is not kaina. Otherwise, why would the guy be paying daled behei? So Gemara says, Amar Rava v'tisbara hamatarasti. Do you really think that this brisa is accurate? Is it meaning maturitz? Meaning is it worked? I don't know exactly how to touch it. Accurate, I guess. Right?
Worded correctly.
Worded. I'm saying worded correctly.
correctly.
That's not the way. I hear, but that's not the way we normally touch the word teretz, right? The teretz is usually an answer. So here we're saying it's like a little. Meaning, is it answered up? Is this price answered up? Is it accurate? Right? Ela the Katani Seifa Gana Batava Chuba Achar Vagan Risha Misham Tashume Arva Chamisha B'Sheni and Misham Ela Keren. Right, the Seifa, which says that if a guy stole it and shechted it, and somebody else comes along and steals it, so then the first guy pays daled behei, and the second guy only pays Keren, right? Because he only stole it from. He didn't steal it from the owner. Right? If Is there a shita that holds that Shina Maisa is not koina? Elalayla kula lifnei yish. Everybody holds that it's lifnei yish. Be'epach and switch it, right? It must be that it's on my lifnei yish, and we have to switch. It's epach. I'm sorry, epach seifa the mitziyasa. Let's switch the psak of the seifa to the middle with the middle case. Mitziyasa la seifa, and we change the middle case to the end. This is what we're going to have to say. If somebody steals and sells it, right, and then somebody else comes and steals it from him, Arishan Mishalim Tashume Arba V'Chamisha. The first guy comes and stays and pays Arba Chamisha. Vasheni and Mishalim Ela Keren. And the second one only pays Keren. The Shina Rishus, but Lo Yush, like Kani, because Shina Rishus without Yush is not Kani. That's the first case. Gona b'tabach, if he shechted it, if he stole it and then shechted it, uba achar b'gonbu, and then somebody else came and stole it from him, harishan misham tashumei arba v'chamisha. The first guy pays arba v'chamisha. V'sheni misham tashumei kefel. The second one pays kefel. The kanya b'shina ma'isa, because he was kanya with a shina ma'isa. So basically, the Gemara parrots his favorite teretz. The Gemara just switched the cases. We have a kasha, let's switch the cases. Right? Fine. Rav Papa Amar Lo'ilam Lo'Tepach. Rav says you don't have to switch the cases. Seifa, the Seifa is Beishamai. He is going according to Beishamai, who we had two blot ago. The Amri Shinoi b'Makaima Aimid. Shinoi is Aimid in the it stays in its place, right? So Ihachi, meaning Shinoi, meaning we don't. That was the Beishamai was talking about if you took wheat and you made it into flour, can you take it as the Zionist payment or not? Right? So he said that Shina has been becoming Ma'omer. Fine. Ihachi kasha reisha mitziyasa l'Rav. If that's the case, then the reisha in the middle case is a kasha on Rav. Because if we're talking about that it was before Yush and Shina doesn't do anything, so then how come the second crook is not going to be chayiv kefil? Right? He should be chayiv kefil. No, all the cases are talking about there was no yish. Okay, what we're talking about. So now we start switching. See, David, I don't know how we know this either. But we're talking about where the guy was miyayish from the lekeach, meaning if he knows the guy bought the animal, then he's miyayish. Oh, a guy already bought it from the crook. Forget it. It's already in the black market. I'm done. That's where he was miyayish from that. But he was not miyayish from the ganav. So there's different girsayos here. Yiyush v'shina rishus, and so therefore there is yiyush at least from the ganav, from the loikeach, and some sort of shina rishus. But like
Why is he
Tema,
chayav kefil though in one of those cases? Why is he chayav kefil? I think it's the middle case. He's chayav kefil to the first ganav.
well, according to this, we're going with the original middle case. Yeah.
Right. So it's gonna why in the middle case is he chayav kefil if he was miyayish after the fact? He was never.
See, I don't know.
I
I'll be honest with you. I don't understand. When is he being miyayish?
After he steals it, the second guy.
Say he's being miyayish. He's being miyayish. I mean, what does it help if the guy sells it to somebody? So he's miyayish from the lekeach, and now
we're talking about the original owner is miyayish.
I'm saying the ganav's out of the picture now. So what's the difference that he wasn't miyayish from that?
Even worse, why am I chayav kefil the person that never owned it?
What?
When the Baal's miyayish, the Gemara is it's in the second ganav's rishus. The first ganav never owned it for you to be chayav kefil to him. That you were ganav from the owner. Why is the second ganav chayav to the first ganav kefil?
The second case, there's a guy in the middle. The guy he sold it to. The guy he sold it to owns it.
How does he own it? It's lifnei yish.
You have yish shini rishus.
The yish happened after the fact.
What does it make a difference which way around? You have
This,
I'm not
Whenever
sure.
he's
when was
miyayish,
the owner miyayish?
it doesn't matter. As soon as he sells it, let's say he's miyayish, right? Once that yish happens, there's a mamela shini rishus. Now the sale kicks in.
Be honest with
The
you, I
third
don't
guy
have
owns
this
it,
clear.
and then the fourth
I
guy has
don't-
to pay kefil.
I guess depending on what stage in the game you're talking about.
Why? Why does it matter?
Why does it matter?
First guy owns it. Second guy stole
Right.
it from the first guy. Second guy's chayav kefil to the first guy. That's dumb. Now he sells it to the third guy. That sale is what we're talking about. So we need yush and
Right.
shini rishus for that.
Right.
You have l'chayr, you have a shini rishus with the sale. We're saying that it doesn't kick in because there's no yush. But as soon as there is yush, and we're saying that the owner, guy number one, is going to be miyayish once it reaches the hands of guy number three.
Right.
So then you have yush and shini rishus at the same time. As soon as you have yush, the shini rishus kicks in, and the sale kicks in.
I'm saying the years from who?
The yush from guy number one, the owner, the original owner is miyayish once it's in guy number three's hands.
Right. I hear. Okay. I hear the shot. It's like Yavamas over here. Yeah.
This is the
But anyways.
Balazach.
Yeah. So anyway, so the Gemara continues, and don't say Mishum to be in Yiyush Vishin Rishus. So now we're saying that you need two things. You need Yiyush and you need it to change Rishuyas. Meaning, because you would think, okay, so now in order for the crook to be kainet, you need to have two things, Yiyush, and it needs to change possession. And I would say, no, even Yiyush itself, he's also kind of by the ganav. The only way to find the case, this is really what Gershon was just saying. The only way to find a case that both the first ganav and the second ganav are going to have to pay is if you have Yush and Shini Rishus together. Otherwise, you're not going to be able to have each one paying kefil or dalid v'hei. Right? Meaning the
Why
guy.
not?
I'm sorry. No.
Why
The
not?
only way it's going to do this if you don't have. I'm sorry. I said Shina. You need to have both. I'm sorry. No, you're going to have. You're going to have no yiyush, right? It has to not have been miyayish. And
This
it's
is
the
still
only way
in
you're
the
gonna have the hay.
first context. But either kefil or dalid v'hei. Right? It's going to be. It has to be no yiyush and with the shinui. And
Well, you could have a case where a person says the first kind of pays out kefil and the second kind of pays kefil, where the person's miyayish with the first kind of.
no.
They would both pay kefil.
Right.
You're saying there wouldn't be a case where you pay dal hay and then kefil with the second kind of unless there's no yish. According to
Correct. Right.
you're saying there wouldn't be a
right.
dal hay case. That's what you need to come on to say.
Right. Yeah, correct. Okay, good. That's the real hard part of the daf. Fine. Itmar. Weiter. Now we have a similar machlokes. Let's say the crook, sold it before Yush. Right? So now what? So Reb Nachman Omar Chayiv. Reb Nachman says he's still Chayiv. I mean, he's Chayiv. Yeah.
I'm sorry, can I butt in for a second? The case before, Akiva just finished saying you need the dalad v'hei and then kefil. Dalad v'hei is only with shor v'seh. If he steals a box of, I don't know, birthday cake,
Right.
there's no dalad v'hei, so it would be kefil and kefil. So you can't
Correct.
find both kefil. Dalad v'hei is irrelevant at this point. In the last line
Well,
of the Gemara.
Well, look, it'll be
So then
relevant.
you could find
for
plenty of
be-
cases. You could be miyayish and you be. But
It'll be relevant for a sale. It won't be relevant for.
If it happens to be a shor v'seh, then it's going to be dalad v'hei and then kefil. But a regular
Right.
geneva is going to be kefil and then kefil. So when the Gemara says deloy mishkachas without yush, that's just two kefils.
Right.
If it happens to be a
No,
shayla
no.
b'seil, okay, it's talib b'hei.
Right.
No, but you could
Right,
find
that's-
kefil when you're miyayish with both of them. Very
With
simple,
Yush, that's it.
right? So why couldn't the
That's what
Mishnah
it's
go in that
saying.
case?
You need Yush. You don't need Shini Rishus.
I understand it.
Because
So
of
why
that.
couldn't we learn that case?
Which case?
The case where you're being miyayish in the first person's rishos.
Because we don't know when that is. We can say for sure that the guy's miyash when the third guy owns it. That was the chiddush of the Gemara. That's it for sure. So if you put a third and a fourth guy in, then we have for sure Yush. Then you have two kefils.
Yeah. And you could keep going down the road. Yeah. All right. Let's see weiter. So Idmar, Hamaychel Lifnei Yush. If a guy sold it before Yush, so Rav Nachman Omar, Chayev, he's Chayev Daled B'Hei. That's what we've been saying until now, right? Because it still belongs to the owner, and he went and sold it because he was a miyad. Rav Sheshes, though, now a new shita. Rav Sheshes Omar Potter. Rav Sheshes says he was not really a new shita, right? But he's being it's a new he's being chalik on Rav, for sure, and Rava. But Rav Sheshes says he's Potter. What's up shot? Rav Nachman Amar Chayev, Umachru Amar Rachman. The Torah says he sells it, Bahazavin, and he sold it. Loishna Lefnei Yush, Loishna Lar Yush, and he says it makes no difference. It was before Yush, after Yush. If the guy stole something and sold it, he has to pay. Rosheshes Amar Potter. Rosheshes says he's Potter. Chiyuve La'achar Yush Huda Hani Maisav. The chiyuv only works after Yush. Aval Lefnei Yush. But before Yush, the loyahanu ma'asav, where his action, it doesn't do anything, right? Because it was before Yush, loy mechayev, he's not chayev. Dumi de tficha be'inon, because you need it similar to shchita, the hanu ma'asav, that his ma'asim actually do something. Right? Basically, what Rav Shesh's shita is that what's causing the daled vehei? Be basically understanding with Rav Akiva, right? That what causes the daled vehei is because the guy is doing some sort of closure to it, right? So after the guy was miyayish, so then his meisim mean that's this total closure. But before yish, his meisim don't work. And memela, you're not going to have to pay daled behei, right? So Amar Sheshes, how do I know this? The Tanya Amar Bikiva, like we said, why is it that if a guy sells or shechts, he has to pay daled behei because he's rooted in chet, right? Amos when it was before Yush. Is that called nishtarish? It's not nishtarish. Elolav lachar Yush. It's talking about it was after Yush. So that's where Rav Sheshes gets it from. So Amarava, no, this is what we said on the top of the Amid. It doesn't mean that because he rooted himself in a chet, right? He rooted himself in a chet. He did it a second time, meaning he shechted it, and then first he stole it, and then he did it a second time to mamish make it that it's no longer the owner, the original owner who was stolen, is never going to see anything from it. Fine. Toshima. So the Gemara is going to ask a kasha now on Reb Nachman. Yeah. So for Tavcha it says Umachri, he shechts it and he sells it. Matficha she'ena chazeres, just like shechting never comes back. Af mechira she'ena chazeres, so too mechiras also doesn't come back. Amos. So when did this guy sell it? Elam elifnei Yush. If he did it before Yush, Amayena chazeres, why doesn't it come back? The guy was not miyayish, so the sale's not a sale, right? Elalacha Yush must be talking about after Yush. Bishmami no chiyuv alacha Yushu. So you see that he's chayiv and it's after Yush. Rav Nachman said the chiyuv only works if it's before Yush, not after Yush. So our answer is Tirgum Rav Nachman, like we said on the top, prat l'shehikna loy l'shloshim yoyim. It's only talking about a case where it's excluding a case where the guy basically rented out for 30 days. That's what the Gemara meant, right? Not because of if it's a sale that taka won't work legally because it was stolen property, Fine, but that's not what we're talking about here. We're talking about where it was Lamaisa, it was just rented. So that's not considered a sale. Fine. And Rebbe Lazar also holds that the chiyuv is only after years. Damar Rebbe Lazar on Tomei Beis, Teda Shestam Geneva Yish Bailamu. How do we Teda Shestam Geneva Yish Bailamu? How do you know that Geneva, Stam Geneva is Yish Bailam? See, that's what he's saying. He's saying Stam Geneva is Yish.
After how much
Meaning
time? Not after a day.
Miyad. No, Rashi
Miyad.
says Miyad.
So I find out right away something is stolen, and I'm gonna think right away I'm Yashit.
You're never recovering it. Yeah. That's what it seems. I don't know. I don't know. I'm having a hard time with this daf. I don't know if I have an easy time with other dafim, but
I would say the same thing logically. A stam geneva, it's not an exquisite geneva. If someone steals a Da Vinci painting, that's not a stam geneva. But a stam geneva, he steals whatever it is from you. Miyash.
Steals the Apshikugel.
Yeah, I just had it. Someone stole $100 worth of stuff.
Yeah.
There's years. I'm not going to get it back. I'm not going to get the money for it. It's gone.
okay, I don't know. I'm saying it depends who stole it, when stole it, how. You're talking about, I guess, a gun, so you don't know.
I know who took it. They're just refusing to pay. So there's years. No, I'm not going to get it back.
Okay, so that's
I learned from a case: never give up hope of getting it back. Never give up hope of getting it back. Once you give up a little bit, or you have a havamina, it makes a difference.
Isn't that the whole point?
I got a rabbi; he owes me for 2.5 years, $4,000. I'm never giving up hope of getting it back. I just called him the 72nd time to try to get and collect from him. I said, but I'm never going to give up hope of getting it back.
Okay, so you're trying.
For me too, I wouldn't call $4,000 a stam geneva.
Well, at least you're leaving Yerusha for your kids, Rock.
Isn't that the basis of Loisikon Veloisitor?
Yeah, you have that too.
It means if the Abishta wants me to have it, I'll have it. If not, I'm not gonna.
Okay, so I don't know. Let's see the shakvatais. Anyways, again, Teida, how do you know? Shastam Geneva Yush Bailamu. How do you know? Sharei Amra Torah, Tavachu Mocher Masham Tashumei Arv Chamisha. If the guy, the crook, shechts it or sells it, he pays Arv Chamisha. How could he pay Arv Chamisha? Duma lo Yayish. Maybe the guy wasn't Miyayish, and the whole sale is not a good sale. So must be Elalam Mishum Damrinon Stam Geneva Yush Bailam. Stam Geneva is Yush, and that's why if the guy sells it, the sale's a good sale, but mainly you have to pay Dalit Vehei. So I want to say, ask Vidilma Afal Gav de Yayish. No, who says maybe it goes with the shitas that hold that even if there's no Yush, right? Maybe it works even without Yush. Amri loy sagadaita. Don't think that. Dumi the tvicha, because it has to be similar to shchita. Ma tvicha dahanu maisav, just like shchita. His maisim work because he actually shechts it, so the animal's no longer right. Meaning he does it because he was meshana the animal. It was once a live animal, now it's a dead animal. Af mechira dahanu maisav. So mechira also. Bilifnei yish mayahanu. And if it's before yish, so then what does it help? Right. Meaning you need to, if you're having a shinui in the shinui rishus, then you need to have yush together with it, right? So elamai, it must be you need to have yush together with it. So then when I ask, okay, Vidilma the shamano the yayish, maybe it's only the only time you have to be dalaveh is where we actually know definitively that the guy was miyayish. I don't know how David, I don't know how that works. But we know definitively that he was miyayish. So when it says Amri loisal gadaita, no, you don't have to think that. You have to know definitively that he was miyayish. Dumi the tvicha, similar to shchita, ma tvicha la'alta. The tvicha, the shchita. If the guy steals it and a second later he shechts it, he's chayiv, right? Dalavei. Oh, when was the guy miyayish? We're just assuming there was years. It's the same thing. If he sold it, it's also immediate. If he sells it immediately, which means that there has to be a yish. Fine. Somebody Rabbi Yochanan. Rabbi Yochanan, he has a very interesting kasha, which unfortunately is negeya now to the matzav in Eretz Yisrael. This kasha is mamash negeya to the matzav in Eretz Yisrael. Unfortunately, they should all have a Yeshua. Amalei Rabbi Yochanan, geneva benefesh techiyach. A kidnapping will prove it. Shein yiyush bailim. What's the din of a kidnapping? So somebody who kidnaps somebody is chayiv misa, right? He said, "How you chayiv misa?" Right? Meaning, no, I'm sorry. If he kidnaps and he sells the guy, a guy kidnaps somebody and then he sells him, right? So the sales are considered. Then he's going to be chayiv. He's chayiv misa, right? Because he sold the guy that he kidnapped. The Gemara is asking, but there's no yish because a guy that's kidnapped is never miyayish. A guy that's kidnapped is never miyayish. He always thinks he's going to get out, right? So again, the owner, meaning
Who thinks he's
himself,
going to get out? The guy or
the
somebody-
guy that's
or his
kidnapped, the guy
family?
that's kidnapped. No, the guy himself. He's considered the balabayas, right? He never gives up, right? He never gives up hope. At least that's what the Gemara is assuming. He never gives up hope, right? Shein yishbailim b'chayev, and he's chayev. You still see the guy's chayiv. So you see that somebody could be chayiv for selling a stolen property. In this case, it's a human. In this case, it's a human, right? Even though the guy was not miyayish. Mechlal. So the Gemara says mechlal. The savar of Yochanan lefnei yiyish chayiv. So you see that Rabbi Yochanan holds that before yiyish you chayiv, la'achar yiyish mai. What's the din after yiyish? So Rabbi Yochanan Omar chayiv. Rabbi Yochanan is going to say chayiv, but Rish Lakish Omar. Rish Lakish is going to say potter. So again, more shitas about whether it needs to be before yish, after yish. Rabbi Yochanan Amar chayiv, chiyuve bein lifnei yish, bein lacher yish. The chiyuv, he's chayiv whether there was yish, there was no yish. Rish Lakish Amar, right, and his raya is from the kidnapping. Rish Lakish Amar potter, chiyuve lifnei yish, who the chiyuv is if he did it before yish. Aval lacher yish kana, but if it's after yish, then the ganav is koinit for shaloyu tevech, for shaloyu mecher, and then he's selling and shefting his own animal, therefore he's not chayiv dalid behei. Okay, so now it's Rabbi Yochanan Rish Lakish. Rabbi Yochanan has the kasha to Rish Lakish. It says gona v'hiktish v'achakach tovach. If a guy stole and then he was makdish it, so you're right now he's a tzaddik. Here we go, another guy who's a crook and a tzaddik. He stole it. At least what the Gemara thinks now. He stole the animal, made it into hektish, and then he shechted it. So Shalim Tashume Kefil, he has to pay Kefil.
You can't make it hektish. We learned it yesterday.
Well, that's what I was going to ask that. Very good. So Shalim Tashume Kefil, he pays Kefil, right? Why? Why is he paying Kefil? He stole it. He shechted it. Meaning even though he shechted it, he's not paying Daled Behei because he's shechting something that belonged to Hektish. But he is Chayiv Kefil. Why? Because B'shas the Geneva, it wasn't Hektish. So he pays kefil ve'enim sham tashumei aru chamisha. He doesn't pay the 4 and 5. So Gemara says Amos. When is this case? Ilema. This Ilema is a different spelling, right? Gershon. It's not Alima, right? Normally Ilema is Aleph Yud Lamed, Mem Aleph. I don't know if this is a typo. I don't know what the story is here. Anyways, but it's got to be Ilema. If it's somebody who was before the owner was miyayish mikodesh, who was mekadesh it? Ishki yakdish is basic kodesh amrachmana. It's a person is makdish his own house. Ma basic shaloi, his house belongs to you. Af kol shaloi, it has to be something that belongs to you. So the crook is being mekadesh something doesn't belong to him. So that can't work. Elapshita lacha yush must be he made it hektish after yush. The time of the hektish. The reason why he's not paying Dalet Vehei is because it was after Hektish. Because when he shechted from Hektish. But if he didn't make it Hektish, if he didn't, it wasn't Hektish. The only reason why he's getting out of Dalet Vehei is because he made it Hektish. Mashma, if he wasn't Hektish, then he would have to pay dollar behay. And if you hold that Yush is kaina, same kasha, my mishalim. If he was miyayish the owner, so why is he paying? Shalayu tevech, shalayu moicher. He shefted his own and he sold his own. So Malay, Hachamayaskinon, Kigoin Shiktishu, Bailim Biyad Ganav. So it's not talking about that the Ganav is the one that was Maktishit. It's talking about where the owner was Maktishit when the guy stole it. I mean, the guy comes and steals it, and the owner says, "Oh, I got a great idea. Let me make it into hektish." Right? So there was no yish. So the Gemara asks, "Umi Kaddish, can that happen?" If something was stolen and the bailam were not miyayish, both of them are not able to be makdashit. This one can't be makdashit because it's not his, because he's the ganav. It's not his. He can't be makdashit, and the owner can't be makdashit. It's not in his rishus. So how could it be that he's makdashit?
See, I love how the Gemara gives an answer. Asks a question from Rabbi Yochanan Shlakish from Rabbi Yochanan.
I didn't have that. Yeah, very good, very good. I mean, this whole kasha is a kasha.
I mean, I don't know. I don't know if maybe it's a universal idea. That,
Yeah,
it
that's
must
right.
be.
But everybody holds that, no?
Yeah, it must be, Akiva. It's a good point.
Unless you're just assuming Rabbi Yochanan is not saying like it's a universal idea. Rabbi Yochanan is saying.
Right. Yeah. That's a good point. So again, so it can't be how you making it hektish. So Amri Udamar Kitsnuin. It's he's saying Rish Lakish says he's going with the Tznuin, the people that are tznius. The Tnan, we'll see this more tomorrow's daf as Hashem. Tznuin manichin es amois. The Tznuin would leave money. Anybody who takes from this field is going to be mechulul on this money. Basically, what's going on here is that you have something, you have Arla, and then after Arla, you have Nata Ravai. The fourth year, you have to take it up to Yerushalayim and eat it there. The same thing as Maisa Sheni, right? So these Tzenuin were afraid that people would walk by their fields and take the fruit, not knowing that it's Kerem Ravai, and now these crooks are going to end up being over on Isurim. So what these Tzenuim, I don't know why they're called Tzenuim, they're really like Tzadikim. Like I say, there's a fine line between a tzaddik and a fool, right? So these guys might look like fools. Basically, what they're doing is they're bailing out the people that are crooks, right? What are they doing? They're saying that they take money, because normally what you do is instead of bringing the fruits up to Yerushalayim, you take the fruits, you put it onto money, and then you bring the money to Yerushalayim and you eat it there. So what these Tznuim did is that they took the fruit, they took money, put it down on a chair, and said, all these crooks that are coming to eat our fruit are going to, whatever they're eating is, it's going to be the kedushas transferred onto this money. Like this, they're not over on these surim.
Is that a yesh brera type thing?
That's tomorrow's daf as Hashem.
Not encouraging them to steal, because that's where they're.
I don't think they know about it.
For them.
They're Tzenuim. They don't know about it.
No, the Tzenuim are not the Ganovim.
I know, but the Ganovim don't know about the Tzenuim. It's new.
I know that.
Right, that's what I'm saying, David. It's a fine line between a fool and a tzaddik. They might be enabling. What do you call it? Enabling.
Yeah.
Right? Even though I don't think the Ganovim know about it. They're just doing it to save the Ganovim from an Isser. Right? There were such tzaddikim out there that cared about that. But whatever it is, so the Gemara's Rish Lakish says that's the type of guy we're talking about. So therefore, you can do that type of making it hektish in order to, if it's, even though it's not in rishus, because in this here either, fruit is no longer in the guy's rishus, right? The fruit was stolen, yet it's still allowed to make it hektish in order to bail them out. So that's the hektish that we're talking about. So this crook stole an animal, so this guy's making it hektish. So now I don't know, he's going to help this guy out, but at least this guy is not going to have to pay kefil or daled vehei. So then the Gemara asks, but if that's the case, and the owner made it hektish, so that means it went back into the owner's rishus, right? Meaning, normally we're saying that why do you have to pay kefil? Because he didn't give back the geneva, right? And he got caught, so you have to pay double. But here, if the guy made it hektish and it works, right? The guy made it hektish and it works. So that means it was given back to him. So then why should the guy pay kefil?
How was he given back to him? He made it hektish.
But good, but he had the right to make it hektish. How does he have the right to make it hektish? Elamai, it's still his. Right? Still his.
Rashi says it funnily. Rashi says the idea is that it has to be nimtza b'yadagan to be chayav kefil. I don't know if he's bavarning Naftali's question, but he says in the case where it's not b'yadagan, if you can't have taina, where's my carrot, and you're mechayav kefil because of that.
Right, I hear. But you have to. It's not in his rishos. Anyway, so Gemara answers Kashomad Bedin. It didn't stam happen like that. It's talking about where the Adam came and they were Oimid Bedin, and they said this Ganav is Chayiv, and then the guy made it hektish. So it didn't become that he stam made it hektish. That would taka be, then the Ganav's not going to pay kefil. We're talking about where Bezdin said, "You're a crook. We caught you. Now you got to pay kefil," and then he made it hektish. Right? So Mamela, he was caught, and therefore he has to pay kefil. Okay, and the next Gemara is connected to tomorrow's daf. So even though we have 2 dots in the Amud Aleph, but we'll stop over here because it's just a good place to stop. Okay, so let's do Tilla.